Hey guys, episode 19 of the ISA portfolio series. Brilliant week this week, has to be said. £10,000 up. So I think this is sort of now had the election. Looks like it's going to be a Biden win, but not the sort of complete blue sweep as they were predicting. So I think the view is that he'll struggle to get a great deal through of the major changes that he wants. Maybe not the corporation tax rise and sort of some of the other big changes that he wanted to do, potentially breaking up the big tech stocks. So everything seems to be sort of rising up again. But they're thinking he will get stimulus through. So the gold price has been on the way back up. And I've seen £7,500 gain on last week out of these two funds. So pretty good with that. A lot of predictions as well. I mean, we're at $1,950 gold. Seen a lot of predictions of sort of over 2,000. Some even as high as $2,500 in the next sort of few months. So if that happens, I would think these will rocket up and I'll have to start averaging out. But yeah, that's the Hargreaves Lansdown ISA for this week. Just popping over to 212. So this is up as well. 24.5. So big news this week is I've got rid of the tech pie largely. If you've sort of been watching this a little while, then you'll know I was never really sort of that keen on the tech pie. It was just sort of didn't really see too much else I wanted to go at. So I've sold out most of those and I have gone for Bitcoin in an ISA. I thought it would be coming at some point. But this seems to be the first one on the market. It's from the Deutsche Börse exchange, so it's in euros, and it's physically backed, well, as much as physical gets with Bitcoin. It's one-to-one backed in a wallet under their control, and they say if you wish, you can redeem it for physical, as they call it, for real Bitcoin to your own wallet. So gives you a bit more security that they are actually holding it and they're not doing it sort of fractionally like people sort of suggest the gold ones are, that there isn't really enough gold in there. But if they're saying you can redeem it for physical, then fair enough. So I sold out of Microsoft and Visa, MasterCard, Facebook, PayPal, and a couple of the others, and sort of put that into this. We also sold out of my Saga position. Just do think that will eventually go up, but with the new lockdown and sort of expecting, or lockdown in the UK at least, that that's probably going to last more than a month. So I think Saga are going to struggle really. So it was down about 50% or something, but you got to cut your losses if you think it's not a good investment going forward. So that all went into this as well. So £1,600. There is a 2% annual fee on this, which is quite hard to take, as most of sort of index funds and that sort of thing, ETFs that I want to be investing in would be less than 1/10 of that. But this is the only way to get it in an ISA, and this way I won't have any capital gains tax. So seems like a good buy. So I did keep, I've kept the ARC pie, just for the Cathy Wood factor, just see how she gets along. So I haven't sold anything out of that. And from the tech pie, I did keep Alibaba and Amazon, just because they do seem to have sort of incredible growth, really, even growth in profits. So I don't count them the same as some of the other tech companies. So Barrick Gold doing quite well. BT Group hasn't really moved. There's the some of the ARC ones. Evraz, not done too bad this week. Obviously a big mover was First Majestic Silver, 15% in the week. Is always sort of incredibly bullish when silver starts going up. I think it went up $1.50 on, I think it was Wednesday. So can't complain about that. Glaxo hasn't really done anything for the week. Just a tiny bit down, I think. Oh, no, it did have a bit of a recovery. Yeah, it was down sort of under £13 recently. I didn't buy any because they still seem to have sort of a bit struggle with debt. But I will look to hold it long term. It's just not something I'll get into right away. Some more ARC Pie stuff. S&P Gold Producers, 9%. Pretty good as a broad ETF. This will continue to go up. It holds sort of very similar companies to the BlackRock Gold ETF or fund in the Hargreaves Lansdown ISA. So that'll always do quite well. Kia Group, done nothing. A little bit of up and down, but nothing too much there. Oh, I did keep Nintendo as well. That's, I don't know whether I mentioned that was on the long-term list. So anything that's sort of on the long-term list, I'm not selling out of, even though it was in the tech pie. Polymetal, again, is always a volatile miner, 15%. I mean, same as First Majestic Silver, and these are sort of largely a gold miner as well, so pretty good to see that increase. Rio Tinto, only a little small position at the moment. I moved out some more Shell shares just to buy some more stuff in the ISA, so that's not sold, that's just moved out. But they've just seen a little rise this week, 4%. Square is in the tech pie. Had a nice high move this week, so they're not doing too bad. And I kept them from they were in the tech pie as well. Seems like they're doing quite well, but I did read 80% of their revenue or recent revenue has come from selling Bitcoin. So they're sort of supposedly taking over the financial space, but at the moment they're just selling Bitcoin. Seems a bit strange. Sylvania Platinum, not quite as much as the gold and silver miners, but Platinum hasn't been doing quite as well. Still a nice rise though. I mean, you look at the long term, it's still looking pretty good. So keep that for a little while. Taylor Wimpey has had a good rise. Haven't really seen any specific news. I think this is just sort of the market recovering and maybe people realising they're a little undervalued. Tesla seen a rise back up. Didn't want to sell this share, so keep that for a little while. Volkswagen come back up. It went to €125. So I was tempted to buy, as this is one of my biggest long-term holds. But I sort of had other things I wanted to invest in. So that is the Trading212 ISA. So I have put a little bit more money in this week. That's in the invest side because the ISA's full. So yeah, £4,000 in here now. Practically at break even. So that was pretty good. I've been sort of 6% down on this recently. So I bought a little bit more of Alibaba. Make this up. I got 0.7 shares in the ISA, so I just thought make this up to a full share. So you'd be sort of having the growth of Amazon really, but sort of on a lower PE ratio, probably either just because they're Chinese or people just are less familiar with them, less of a big name. And bought some Archer Daniels Midland. This is in my long-term stocks pie. So they're basically a sort of agricultural food ingredients producer and supplier. They get involved in loads really. Transport and I think $25 billion market cap. Seems incredibly low for what they hold and what they own. And I wanted sort of a base staple food type stock in there. So I thought go with this. So I've started buying that. Diageo still from last week, sorry. Up a little. Did see a little drop to £25. But that seems sort of not a lot of volatility on that, so that should be good for the long term. Got my Nintendo, bought a little bit more Nintendo this week. That was part of the £400. Neo, I know it's gone up. It's a bit ridiculous, but bought 3 shares of this. I know I'm probably could be buying high and it might crash back down again, but if they're going to be the new Tesla, then I might as well get in a little bit and just have a little on the side. This isn't allowed in the ISA because it's partly owned by the Chinese and they just don't allow it in the ISA. But yeah, not too keen on buying this, but I thought I'll just have a little. Obviously, I haven't seen 36% gain, as you can see there. I bought slightly under here. But yeah, and I just chuck the spare change into supply at Me Capital. It's a popular one on some of the forums, and incredibly low share price, so could potentially go up in the longer term. So most of my shell position is now in here, just because I think it's got less potential for immediate upside, so I'd rather have other things in the ISA really. So that's the portfolio for the week. Pretty good, £10,000 up. You'll unless it crashes tomorrow, you'll probably see the same thing again if you're interested in my crypto portfolio. Nice gain in that as well. So yeah, check that out. Drop a comment in down below if you're interested in anything or have got any queries. A like is always appreciated if you don't mind, and subscribe if you want to see more. See you soon.